Some folks believe that what you eat at night doesn't matter much. But let me tell you, I once proved that wrong in my own kitchen. One chilly autumn evening, I swapped my usual slice of pie for a handful of walnuts and a little cottage cheese before bed. The next morning, when I checked my blood sugar, it was lower than it had been in weeks. I just stood there at the kitchen counter, sunlight coming to the window, feeling like I'd found a little secret the good Lord had tucked away for me. It's funny how something so small can change the way you wake up, especially after 60, when our bodies aren't as quick to bounce back from high sugar swings. You know that sluggish, heavy-headed feeling some mornings bring? Turns out it might be less about age and more about what's on our plate the night before. I used to think evening snacks were my enemy, but now I see they could be my ally, if I choose wisely. That's the twist here. A bedtime snack, done right, can help you wake up lighter, clearer, and steadier. It's almost like resetting your body overnight, without any fancy supplements or pricey gadgets. And I'm not talking about complicated recipes or anything you can't find at your local grocery store. Just real, everyday foods, some sweet, some savory, that can help keep your blood sugar from creeping up while you sleep. I thank God every day for small, practical things like this, because they make living well feel a lot more possible, no matter what the calendar says about our age. Now, here's the part that might surprise you. These snacks aren't just safe for folks with high glucose concerns. They actually help your body work with you instead of against you during the night. Imagine finishing the day without that little voice of worry about how your sugar will behave in the morning. You lay your head down, knowing you've given your body something steady to work with while you rest. The science folks might call it balancing your overnight glucose curve. I just call it giving your body a fair chance to heal while you sleep. Some of these snacks have been part of traditional diets for generations, though we've forgotten about them in our rush toward convenience foods. Others are simple pairings that make a lot of sense once you try them. I've felt the difference myself, and I've seen friends at church who started adding these snacks into their evening routine say things like, "I woke up feeling like I'd actually slept." So if you've ever wondered whether what happens between dinner and bedtime could be the key to calmer mornings, stick with me. We're counting down from number 7 to number 1, and trust me, you'll want to hear them all before deciding which one to try first. If you enjoy little tips that make a big difference, go ahead and share this with a friend. They might thank you tomorrow morning. Number 7, hard-boiled egg. There's something comforting about peeling a hard-boiled egg late in the evening. The shell gives way with that gentle crackle, and the steam carries a smell that reminds me of my mama's kitchen back in the 1950s. She always had a little pot of eggs on the back burner, ready for whoever came in hungry. These days, I keep a few in the fridge, not just for quick snacks, but because they help me wake up without that foggy, sugar-heavy feeling. A single egg has enough protein to keep my blood sugar steady through the night, without the spikes and dips that come from sweeter options. Funny thing, if you think of your body like an old wood stove, the kind that needs steady fuel through the night, a hard-boiled egg is like a small, dense log. It burns slow and even, keeping the warmth without flaring up. I've had evenings where I was tempted by cookies or leftover cornbread, but when I chose an egg instead, my morning readings told me I'd made the better choice. It's a small discipline that pays off while you sleep. A lot of folks don't realize eggs have been a bedtime staple in certain parts of the world for centuries. In some rural European villages, people used to eat a boiled egg with a slice of bread before bed, believing it sealed the stomach for the night. They didn't have glucose monitors, but they knew how to listen to their bodies. Maybe we've lost some of that wisdom in the age of late-night TV snacks and drive-through dinners. My way of enjoying it is simple. I'll slice the egg in half, sprinkle a little sea salt and black pepper, maybe a pinch of paprika, if I'm feeling fancy. I'll eat it slowly, sitting at the kitchen table, thanking God for a food so simple and nourishing. It's not a rush snack. It's a small, mindful pause before the day ends. Since I started ending my day with an egg now and then, I've noticed I'm not as restless in the night. My stomach feels settled, and I wake up without that empty tank, hunger. It's a humble food, but it works hard for you while you rest. Sometimes the best health helpers are the ones that have been sitting in our fridge all along, quietly waiting to be noticed. Number 6, half an avocado with sea salt. If you've ever cut into a perfectly ripe avocado, you know it's a small blessing in itself. That smooth, buttery green inside is like nature's own evening comfort food. I still remember the first time I tried having half an avocado before bed. I was skeptical, thinking it was more of a lunchtime thing. But the next morning, my blood sugar was steady as a Sunday hymn. Turns out, the healthy fats in avocados slow down how quickly sugar enters the bloodstream, keeping things calm through the night. When I was growing up, we didn't have avocados in every grocery store. Now, I thank the Lord they're easy to find, even in small-town America. I think of them like a peace treaty for the body. They calm the system down instead of riling it up. And unlike a sweet snack that might leave you tossing and turning, avocado gives you that satisfied, grounded feeling that says, you're good till morning. There's a little trick I use to make it more enjoyable. I sprinkle sea salt over the top and sometimes a dash of lemon juice. The salt brings out the flavor, while the lemon keeps it fresh and bright. I scoop it straight from the skin with a spoon. No fuss, no dishes piling up. That's important to me at night. The last thing I want is to turn bedtime into a kitchen cleanup marathon. In some parts of Mexico, folks have been eating avocado with salt before bed for generations, believing it helps rest the heart overnight. Whether or not that's scientifically proven, I know how my mornings feel. Calmer, lighter, and without the sugar highs and lows. Sometimes, old traditions carry more truth than the latest diet trends. These days, when I end the night with half an avocado, I sleep more deeply and wake up without that gnawing hunger. It's a quiet, gentle kind of food, the sort that doesn't need a shout to make a difference. Just one more reminder that sometimes the path to better health after 60 isn't complicated. It's just a matter of choosing the right company for your plate. Number 5, celery sticks with peanut butter. The crunch of celery in the quiet of the evening is something special. It's that crisp, watery snap that wakes up your senses without waking up your sugar. When I was a boy, we didn't waste much food, and celery was one of those vegetables that could hang around in the icebox a while. But I never thought of it as a bedtime snack until a few years back, when a neighbor suggested pairing it with peanut butter. At first, I thought, that's for kids' lunchboxes. Then I tried it one night, and the next morning, my glucose meter told me it was a keeper. You see, celery is mostly water and fiber, gentle on the stomach, but not much for fuel. Peanut butter, though, brings in healthy fats and a touch of protein. Together, they slow the absorption of sugar, giving your body a steady burn instead of a quick flash. It's like mixing a slow song into your evening playlist, helping you drift into a steadier night's rest. I like to keep it simple. 2 or 3 stalks of celery, washed and cut into lengths that fit in the palm of my hand. I'll spread a thin layer of natural peanut butter, the kind with just peanuts and salt, along the groove. Sometimes I'll even sprinkle a few sunflower seeds on top for extra crunch. The trick is to eat it slowly, letting the peanut butter's richness balance out the celery's cool bite. Back in the 1970s, there was a health craze where folks called this snack ants on a log when topped with raisins. I skip the raisins at night, since that sweetness can nudge sugar higher. But the base idea is still solid. A mix of crunch, creaminess, and satisfaction that carries you through till morning. These days, I keep a bunch of celery in the crisper and a jar of peanut butter in the cupboard, ready for nights when I want something filling but not heavy. I've noticed I don't wake up with that urgent, empty stomach hunger when I have it. It's just another quiet reminder that sometimes the best snacks are the ones we've known all our lives, just enjoyed at the right time. Number 4, cottage cheese with blueberries. The first time I had cottage cheese with blueberries at night, it felt like I'd stumbled onto a little blessing no one had told me about. That creamy, mild cheese meeting the sweet tart pop of blueberries. Its comfort and freshness in one spoonful. I've been looking for something that could keep my blood sugar steady while still giving me the feeling of a treat, and this did it. In the morning, my glucose reading was smooth and steady, without that roller coaster dip that sometimes leaves you groggy. When I was growing up, cottage cheese was a common supper table item, usually with sliced tomatoes or a sprinkle of pepper. Blueberries were a summer-only treat we picked ourselves down by the old creek. These days, thanks to the freezer aisle, I can enjoy them any time of year. And when I combine the two before bed, I get that satisfying mix of slow-digesting protein from the cheese and antioxidants from the berries, a real win for overnight balance. I like to use about half a cup of cottage cheese and a small handful of blueberries. If the berries are frozen, I let them thaw just a little so the juices mingle with the cheese. Sometimes I'll add a tiny pinch of cinnamon, which not only adds warmth to the flavor, but also helps with sugar control. It's the kind of snack that feels special without being fussy, and it doesn't require a sink full of dishes afterward. There's a bit of old-world charm in this combination. 2. In part of Eastern Europe, farmers used to end their day with curds and fresh fruit, believing it settled the stomach for a peaceful night. They didn't have the science we do today, but they knew from experience that certain foods simply treated the body kinder. Since I started enjoying cottage cheese with blueberries as an evening habit, I've noticed I sleep more soundly and wake up without that crash feeling. It's a quiet, dependable snack, nothing flashy, but it does its job beautifully. Sometimes that's exactly what we need in life. Something steady, something wholesome, something that works while we rest. Number 3, walnuts. The sound of walnuts cracking open on a winter night still takes me back to my grandpa's porch. He kept an old metal nutcracker on the side table, and we'd sit there in the quiet, breaking shells and talking about nothing in particular. I didn't know then that those little brain-shaped nuts were doing more than just keeping our hands busy. They were helping steady our blood sugar long after the sun went down. Walnuts are rich in healthy fats and a bit of protein, both of which slow the way sugar moves into your bloodstream. These days, I don't bother with the shells unless I'm feeling nostalgic. I keep a jar of walnut halves in the cupboard and take out a small handful about an hour before bed. It's enough to feel satisfied, but not so much that I'm weighed down. When I compare my mornings after having walnuts to nights when I go without, the difference is clear. Steadier numbers, clearer head, calmer start. What's interesting is that in ancient Persia, walnuts were considered a food for kings, prized for their strength-giving qualities. Folks back then didn't talk about glucose, but they knew walnuts kept you going without the sudden drop in energy that comes with sugary treats. In a way, eating them connects us to a long line of wisdom about simple, natural foods. If you want to make them feel like more of a treat, you can toast them lightly in a dry pan for a few minutes. The warmth brings out a rich, almost buttery flavor that pairs nicely with a sprinkle of cinnamon or even just a pinch of sea salt. I sometimes enjoy them with a cup of herbal tea, letting the warmth of the drink and the richness of the nuts signal to my body that it's time to wind down. I've noticed that on walnut nights, I don't wake up at 3 a.m. with that nagging hunger or dry mouth. It's a peaceful snack, the kind you can enjoy without guilt, knowing it's working quietly in the background to help you greet the morning a little lighter. Sometimes, the smallest handful can change the whole start of your day. Number 2, plain Greek yogurt with cinnamon. There's a quiet pleasure in spooning out thick, creamy Greek yogurt on a cool evening. It has a richness that feels indulgent, yet it's one of the most blood sugar-friendly snacks you can have before bed. I started having it years ago, almost by accident, when I was out of milk and decided to use yogurt instead for my evening fruit. What I didn't expect was how steady and clear I felt the next morning. My glucose numbers were as calm as the still lake behind our house at dawn. The magic here is in the combination. Greek yogurt is packed with protein, which slows digestion, while cinnamon, that warm, familiar spice, has been shown to help the body use sugar more efficiently. I like to think of it as giving your body a gentle nudge in the right direction while you rest. It's not a crash course or a quick fix, just a slow, steady influence through the night. In Greece, yogurt isn't just a breakfast food. People often enjoy it after dinner with a drizzle of honey or a sprinkle of nuts. I skip the honey at night to keep the sugar low, but the idea of ending the day with something cooling and soothing is the same. There's a bit of tradition and comfort in it, which makes it more than just a healthy choice. It's an experience. My routine is simple. I take about half a cup of plain Greek yogurt, dust it lightly with cinnamon, and stir. Sometimes I'll add a few chopped walnuts if I'm feeling fancy. I sit at the table, no phone, no TV, just me and the gentle spice. That's part of what makes it work for me, slowing down, letting my body know the day is ending. On the nights I choose Greek yogurt with cinnamon, I tend to fall asleep faster and wake up without that shaky, empty feeling. It's a steadying snack, the kind that makes you realize good health doesn't always come from big changes. Sometimes it's just a small, thoughtful choice at the end of the day. Number 1, small apple with almond butter. There's something timeless about the crunch of a fresh apple. My favorite is when it's chilled just right. The skin firm, the inside crisp and juicy. I used to think apples before bed might be too sweet, but pairing one with a little almond butter changes everything. The healthy fats in the almond butter slow the absorption of the apple's natural sugars, making it a steady fuel for the night instead of a quick spike. I remember the first time I tried it this way. I woke up the next morning feeling more rested than I had in weeks. Back in my younger days, apples were a treat we'd pack in lunch pails or pick from the neighbor's tree on a cool autumn afternoon. Almond butter wasn't common then, but now it's easy to find at any store. I think of this pairing as a meeting between the old and the new, a traditional fruit and a modern pantry staple coming together for a greater purpose. There's a bit of natural elegance in the combination. The apple's bright sweetness plays against the almond butter's nutty richness in a way that feels almost like dessert. I usually slice the apple into wedges, spread just a thin layer of almond butter on each, and take my time eating them. It's a simple pleasure, and one that doesn't leave me feeling heavy or jittery before bed. Interestingly, in some cultures, apples are eaten at night to cleanse the mouth and refresh the body before sleep. Add almond butter to that tradition, and you've got a snack that supports your blood sugar while still feeling indulgent. It's proof that health and enjoyment don't have to live in separate corners of the kitchen. Since making this my top bedtime snack, I've noticed fewer restless nights and a smoother start to my mornings. It's a small, sweet ritual, one that feels like a gift to myself at the end of the day. Sometimes, the simplest pairings turn out to be the most powerful. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that the small choices we make at the quiet end of the day can shape the way we feel when the sun comes up. We often think health is built in the big moments, the new diet, the gym membership, the strict plans. But for many of us over 60, it's really about the little rhythms. A simple snack, chosen wisely, can mean the difference between waking up with sluggish feet and greeting the morning with steady energy. I've seen it in my own life and in friends who've tried these 7 snacks. None of them require fancy ingredients or complicated recipes. They're as ordinary as can be. And that's what makes them extraordinary. Think about it. Your body works all night long. Even while you're dreaming, it's repairing, balancing, and getting ready for the day ahead. If we give the right kind of fuel before we turn in, we're lending it a helping hand. I like to think of it as a partnership, me doing my part and the good Lord doing his. And that partnership is built one choice at a time, one evening at a time, until it becomes a habit. I also believe there's a lot of comfort in these foods beyond their health benefits. They bring back memories of family tables, quiet moments in the kitchen, and the smells and tastes that anchor us to the life we've lived. When we choose a snack that nourishes both body and heart, we're caring for ourselves in more ways than one. It's not just about glucose levels. It's about quality of life, about waking up ready to live the day God's given us. Of course, it's wise to remember that no single snack or habit can take the place of professional medical guidance. If you're thinking of making changes to your diet, especially if you're managing diabetes or any other condition, talk to your doctor or trust a health provider. They can help you make sure these choices fit your needs and medications. Good health is a journey, and it's best traveled with wise counsel alongside you. So, whether you start with a humble hard-boiled egg or treat yourself to an apple with almond butter tonight, know that you're giving your body a small gift it can use well. Try one. See how you feel, and let each good choice build on the next. Take care of yourselves, friends. Sleep well tonight, and God bless y'all.